Welcome back to the Fierce and Femme podcast.
With your hosts, Rami and Alicia.
Talking all things fitness, mindset, and everything in between.
To help you become your most fierce and femme selves.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Today we're going to talk all things language. Clearly, I never listened to this episode. But before that, our event is this weekend. What the hell?
So excited.
So excited to see all of you, give you a cuddle, maybe meet you in person if we haven't met before. And if there aren't any tickets left, we are doing a little coffee catch up afterwards. So you still can come and see us, have a little bit of a chat, have some fun. If there are tickets left, check the link in our bio. But if not, we'd love to see you anyways. And we'll pop all the details in the description of the episode anyways. And that's all in there for you. But
Beautiful.
Rami's going to kick us off because language is her bread and butter. So let's get into it.
All right. Language is so important. And I want to touch on first how our internal world creates our external world, right? Which means everything that you're thinking inside of that beautiful little brain of yours, that mind of yours, will become your reality. You got shitty thoughts, shitty outcomes. Positive thoughts, positive outcomes. And yes, we know that life can be challenging, life can be hard at times, things can happen that are outside of our control. We get that. But if you choose to think so negatively all the time and you tell yourself, oh, this is happening to me and poor me and why me and da-da-da-da, then you're always going to subconsciously look for things that are going to feel like you're being attacked. You're always going to look for the negative without realizing. When you change even one small word in a sentence, this is happening to me versus this is happening for me, you can it literally gave me chills. The shift in one word. Because when something is happening for you, we're then more likely to think, oh, why is this happening for me? How is this happening for me? What am I going to get out of this? How is this going to change my life? And notice the different questions that you're going to start asking yourselves, all by slightly changing a couple of words here and there. I wish I could say I came out of the womb and I thought like this all the time. I did not. For me, it was going and doing neurolinguistic programming, which is all about the brain, the mind, and language, our programs, our beliefs, and all of those sorts of things. But you can practice this. And this is what I say to my clients. Every time you say something negative to yourself, whether it's in your head or it's out loud, challenge it. Challenge it with 3 positive statements, 3 positive thoughts, because rewiring what goes on in our mind, it takes time. It takes reps. It takes effort. But no one else can hear or see what's going on in there. So why are we making it such a scary, fearful, or ugly place? We can make it healthy. We can make it happy, but it just takes time.
Yeah. I think on that, something that I used to teach in a masterclass I did years ago, it's bringing back memories. It was called the Selfless, I think, to Self-Love Masterclass. But a big thing on that in terms of changing your language, if you're filled with negativity all day, every day, and then you say one positive thing, that's not going to help. Because the way I like to describe it is this negativity is like the Great Wall of China, and your one positive comment is this tiny little brick.
I like that
for
analogy.
example. Because it starts to show you if we're trying to combat all this negative energy with just one tiny positive thing, it's not going to work. We actually need to correct yourself, because like Rami said, it takes time. You are going to make mistakes. There are going to be times where you do go, this is happening to me. And we have those moments where you just feel the feels. But if you're able to then correct yourself and come back and go, all right, how can I look at this from a different perspective, and then start to rework it and rewrite it, that's also where all the work comes in, because we can't just do it one-off. This is a daily practice, because those moments are going to pop up every day of your life. Challenges are going to arise, and it comes down to when that challenge comes up in your life, are you targeting it with all the negative energy and poor me, poor this has happened, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe challenging it with all the positive energy. Or are we just sitting in the negative? Because as much as you may not be positive and have that different perspective shift in the first place, that's okay. I think it's also learning to be able to pull yourself out of that and adapt your language to the situation as well.
And as soon as you start becoming aware of how often you might think negatively, I don't want you to start going, something's wrong with me, oh my God. Because this happens to my clients all the time when I go, when you think negatively, challenge it with 3 positive things, they go, oh my God, I can't believe how often I'm thinking this way. And it's that reminder of sometimes we're on autopilot with our thoughts. And it's scary because our thoughts create our reality. If we're on autopilot with some real negative things up here, and then you sit there and wonder why your day was shit, it's like, well, you've just got to come back, put yourself, I like to tell my clients, it's like get out of the passenger seat into the driver's seat.
That's a good one.
Right? You're the driver. It's okay. All right? And there's nothing wrong with you. Because literally my client messaged me the other day. She was like, I feel like since working together, I've become so much more aware of my emotions. And before that, I don't think I was emotionless, but I just never thought about it. And I loved that because I was like, the way our society is so disassociated, we distract, we avoid. You can't avoid your thoughts, but you can train them. You can train them to be better. And when you do that, this is going to start tying into decision making. Imagine having that clarity and that calmness in your mind because you've trained yourself to think better, think bigger, and think more positively. I want you to then imagine the domino effect that's going to create in your world and the decisions that you're actually going to be able to make. Because let's say you want to get a new job, but you're filled with so much negativity of what if this job is shit? What if the people that I work with are crap? What if I'm not good enough? You're then not going to apply for the job, so you stay in the same place. Versus, okay, we're going to start teaching ourselves that maybe I could learn something at this place. What skill set can I build? Am I going to make more money? Whatever it is, right? When we start training ourselves in that lens, we're then more likely to go, oh, actually, it's not as big and scary as I thought it was. Keyword, thought. It's not true yet. A lot of the time people believe their thoughts, but it's not actually facts. Another question I always ask my clients when they say something, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good at this. I'm like, is that actually true? And then they go, oh, I don't know if it's true. I'm like, well, you decided that, so obviously it is. And this is where we have to catch ourselves with our language. It's sometimes we've caught these comments or caught these beliefs off other people. And it's not actually yours. I think another one of my clients the other day was like, oh, you know, this person told me that I always push people away. And I was like, but do you believe that? She's like, no, like not with my friends. So it's obviously not true then. So not only being cautious, I guess this is another tip we didn't even have written down, not cautious of your own language, but cautious of the language that you pick up from other people and then decide, I'm going to believe this. You don't have to believe everything that everyone says about you, but the way you build that confidence is by believing better things about yourself.
Yeah. Even down to the decision making of removing certain words from your vocabulary. And these are words that I always say give you an out. That's the best way I like to describe it. And this is how I use it with my clients when it comes to fitness I'll always hear, I'm going to try to make it to the gym today. And I'm like, are you going to make it or are you going to try and make it? Because I say, as soon as you say try, if I ask you tomorrow, you have no excuse because it's like, oh, well, I tried and it didn't happen. And I could easily just go, oh, okay, you tried. But you saying that just gave you a reason to not go because you said try instead of being decisive with your words and with your language. And this is where small little things can make the biggest difference. Like Ivan from my retreats removed I don't know because it came up so much at the first one. And if we're saying I don't know, you probably just don't want to say it. You don't want to admit it, whether it's to yourself, to everyone else. It can feel really scary. You do know. Sometimes it just takes time to take a deep breath, have a little think about it. Again, I think a lot of it comes down to the self-trust of I do know. I just need to trust myself that I know the answer. And on that, there's no right or wrong answer because I think that's a big part that comes down to language of so many people. And to the type of clients that I work with are so in their head that they're so worried about what is the right answer. So if we start to actually remove, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer, there is the perfect answer that is your answer. How many times can I say answer in this question? But removing, I guess, the rules around that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just trust yourself that whatever comes up for you is the perfect thing. On the words as well, removing aim, maybe is a great one.
Or hope.
Or I can't. Because another example on the I can't, when was the last time you gave it a go? Because an example I like to use is I forever was like, I can't do tricep push-ups. They're so much harder than normal push-ups. I just can't do tricep push-ups on my toes. I was always doing them on my knees. And then one day I went into the gym and I went, when was the last time I actually tried to do it? Like I just thought to myself and I was like, I actually can't remember the last time I gave push-ups a go on my toes. Now I'm trying not to say try, attempted them on my toes. I did 3 and I went, holy fuck.
It's possible.
So it's not that I couldn't do them on my toes. It's that I created this belief in my head that I couldn't do them on my toes. But you could give it a go every single day. Maybe you can't do it that day. Doesn't mean that you can't do it the next day. So I think having that open mind and open interpretation that things can change and adapt as well.
I want to speak to the people who have a coach or are wanting to have a coach. And because I say this to my clients all the time, they go, oh, I don't know if I should say this to you. And oh, I'm kind of scared to say this thing. I'm sure you experience this too. And I go to them, I actually need you to tell me because I'm here to actually pick up on your language.
Yeah.
And I always say this to my clients. That's why I love being qualified in NLP because it's taught me so much. But I'm not here to give you an answer. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. I'm here to guide you and support you and pick out the words that are holding you back. And that's been one of my favorite things about having a coach. It's like, oh, they've called me out because they heard me say this word or that word. And that's what I love to do now. But if you don't have that person, and maybe you're not in a place to get a coach, but get someone to call you out when you're saying things like, I can't, or when you're saying things like, I'm trying, I'm aiming, I'm hoping. Get someone to actually be like, no, what are you doing though? And this is the beauty of the work that we do is getting people to understand what they're saying, what they're not saying, and teaching them how to convert these words. Because this is so great for the people, we're telling them, don't say this and don't say that, but then they might go, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But this is the beauty of having coaches because we're here 24/7 to go, all right, instead of saying try, what are you actually going to do today? What's possible? What's realistic? What can you do? And people don't realize that just a slight word, instead of I can't do, how can I? Or I can't do this today, but what can you do today? What's possible? Another one of my clients the other day was like, I've got this challenge with this company that she's working with. I don't know if I can do all of these things. Rah, rah, rah. Okay. But if we were to break it down, what is something realistic that you can do today? That's it. It's just, even with the language, it's asking yourself better questions. That's what I've been, I've lost my word. That is what I've been training myself to do lately is ask better questions because when we can ask better questions, we can also get better results. And when we get better results, I think people forget the bigger picture. It's not always just about your life changing, but imagine how your partner's life will change because you're doing better. What about your siblings, your kids, your parents? How are you going to feel in your workplace when you're thinking better and doing better? And I know it's so easy to get so consumed in your whole life and you might be listening thinking, but I still can't. It's like, well, you are the person that needs to actually learn and you can. It can feel really scary when you feel like the whole world is against you and the odds are always against you. But if people like Alicia and I can do it, we're no different.
Yeah.
And this is why we talk about our struggles, our hardships, our challenges and our problems, but equally we come here with our solutions because we know what it's like, but we also know that it's possible and it does start with your language.
Yeah. I think on your questions part, my interpretation always is being really curious. And this is just in so many things. I think I am a very curious person I like to understand. And this is where I can be very logical. And in my coaching, I'm like this is I want to tell you the why so that you actually understand that this is how you're losing weight. This is everything that happens in your body. But same comes to your mindset of get curious of where did I actually get that belief from that I couldn't do that?
Yes, exactly. It might not be yours.
Yeah. Or even get
God.
curious with other people's language. And this has been a big help for me. And I think something that I've always been really good at just through certain situations where maybe people have been a little more abrupt, rude, and get really curious with maybe what is their story or why are they like that? Because a lot of the time it comes from protection and it's not actually about you. It's about them. And I know we hear that all the time. And I used to hear it when I was little. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That it's about them? Like it's obviously about me. But I think it comes with maturing and learning more is like everyone has their own story. Sometimes when people do say things that they maybe shouldn't have said to you, they maybe didn't mean it. If you know a little bit more about them, things start to click and make sense and you can have compassion for people and understanding that there's more to them than just the rudeness side of it. And it's actually probably a side of protection. Maybe they've never had the opportunity to learn how to communicate properly like you have. Something I actually said to all my retreat attendees, because something came up about, relationships with parents is back then, there was nothing like this. I said, this retreat you are in right now still isn't a really big thing around there. You are so lucky that right now you can learn how to communicate, learn how we do a big workshop on self-talk that is so extremely uncomfortable, and learn all of that to actually start to make a difference in your family. A lot of family members who are older never had that opportunity and were taught this way or the highway, and that's what it's like. And I think that's where the curious, compassionate mindset in terms of language can be really beneficial, because there can be a lot of stubbornness and friction in relationships when it comes to parents or people who are older, because we have this new mindset that's open and everything and they don't, but there's also reasons that they don't have that.
And just trust that if you're someone who's going to start making these changes, the changes around you will occur. People think, all right, today I'm not going to say the word try and my whole life's going to change. Doesn't work that way. Or, you know, you might hear someone else say the word try and you go, oh, don't say that anymore. Like, let people do what they need to do. Because I always get clients that are like, oh, but this person hasn't done the work and that person hasn't done the work. Don't fucking worry about them. It's just that. Like, because that was my biggest piece of advice too. When I got in this space, it was, don't tell other people what to do or what to say. That's obviously not my client, but they're on their own journey. And that is okay. You have to understand that just because you're going on your own personal development journey, not everyone around you wants to, but trust that if you do and you actually do the work, you don't just say it. You don't just read a book and not do it. You don't just listen to this podcast and not do the things we say, right? If you actually do it, I guarantee you the people around you will notice. But the people around you are going to take time to notice, because I feel like your loved ones, your partner, your family, they need the most evidence. Always. And I always tell my clients that, because when they do get in this space, they go, I'm doing all these things. I wish my mum would. I wish my partner would. I'm like, they will learn off you, but they might not want to do this stuff, and that's okay. Because unfortunately, we're in a very victim-based, problem-focused, fear-based society. So people succumb to that without realizing. And if you are that person that's like, I don't want to be that way, great. Stay in your lane. And for me, I can truly believe this, because my relationship changed exponentially. My partner hasn't gone and done any personal development work, no courses, no nothing. I've done the most, but that is what has helped change our relationship. So, and not once have I ever said to him, you need to go to therapy, you need to go do this course, you need to go do this. I just ask every now and then, hey, do you want to do this? No? Okay, babe. That's not for you. You want to go do this and this instead? That's fine. Don't get personally victimized or go, okay, well, they're so reactive. They need to change. They need to change their language. Just keep focusing on changing yours. I just can't reiterate this enough. And just trust me, in time, they will pick up on your changes. If they're not yet, then you got to keep doing more work. Don't look at it as they need to do it. Look at it as, if they're not noticing it yet, what else can I do?
I think the best place to start, because we've covered so many things, and I just know there's going to be the woman who's overwhelmed and like, oh my God, I need to fix everything, is just become aware of your day-to-day language. And I had that feedback from retreat of someone was like, I have started to notice that all my group chats are just everyone complaining. I was like, yeah, it is out there so much more than you think. And all it starts with is awareness. From awareness, we can slowly start to make changes. So I'd encourage you to do that with yourself first, both what's going on up in your head and also what you're actually putting out to the world, and then just starting to correct. And whether you say, I'm going to try to do this, you go, nope, I'm going to do this. And if you need to repeat it a few times and really instill that in yourself, it's going to take time. I can tell you, I've been doing this for years. I still have my days where I'm not perfect. We never are, because life happens. But I think awareness is one of the best places to start.
Beautiful. And I think we'll leave it at that. Okay. We are so excited to hopefully see you this weekend. We cannot wait. Thank you so much for listening. You know the drill, like, follow, subscribe, all the things. Thank you so much. We love you dearly. And
we'll be back in your ears next week.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening.
If you're over on Spotify, don't forget to give us a follow and rate us 5 stars.
And if you're over on our YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
See you next week.
Bye.